All right, we'll get started with Will Guillory.
What's up, be honest? Will Guillory from the Athletic. Just so far, after your first few days of training camp, what do you think about your fit in Stan Van Gundy's offense, and how different is it than what you were asked to do last year?
Well, the actions are different. I think communication has been really, really good with Stan. He's definitely saying everything he needs to say from a player's point of view. He puts himself in the player's spot and think of everything that they're thinking of and try to communicate to us that way. Um, every action we will go through, what we'll be thinking about, so it's no confusion going on. So um, my transition with him has been pretty easy. He's communicating with me, telling me where to be, and when the ball is going to be in my hand, he's telling me where to be. When I'm off the ball, he's telling me where to be. So it's pretty explanatory what he's doing.
Hey, Brandon, Christian Clark with NOLA.com. And just to kind of follow up on that, last year you played a lot at power forward. That was a lot because of the injury issues. But do you think, do you have any sense of the types of shots you get this year? Like, do you anticipate them being different types of shots than you were shooting last year?
Well, I think it all depends on me. I mean, I'm the one that create the shots, so
Yeah.
I'll go off the actions. But he knows my game. I think he before he came here, he studied my game. His offensive coach studied my game, and he's putting me in good positions where I can just do everything that I normally do. Of course, they want me to shoot more threes, and they're comfortable with me shooting more threes. So I'm doing everything on the basketball floor. I know where my shots are going to come from. I know how to create my own shots. So like I said, it's been easy.
Brandon, it's Scott Kushner with NOLA.com. You mentioned when a week or so ago that when you signed that contract, you did feel a little bit more ownership of this team. You felt a little more comfortable. Have you noticed yourself through a few days of practice being more vocal, being more of a kind of a leader of this group? How has it kind of translated to the court now that you had an opportunity to do that?
Just feel good. I feel good communicating. Noticing that communication helps our team out a lot, especially putting guys in the right spot. Of course, all of us can get better with communicating, but that's a big emphasis for Stan, communicating to our guys, putting them in the right spot. And it makes all of us, it's not only me, it's pretty much everybody in the room that's talking. So it's just comfortable for all of us.
Hey, Brandon, it's Andrew from ESPN. Glad to see you found your hair braider. Got that taken care of before picture day yesterday. How have you seen these the guards start to pick up their communication? I know you talked about that, but I know Stan was kind of talking about how he almost needed to stop talking a little bit to let those guys kind of pick it up more. Have you noticed that more in the last couple of days?
I haven't noticed that. I've noticed Stan talking a lot. I think he's just building foundation at this point. He's talking right now, so soon he can give the keys to the guards for them to know everything and know the places they're supposed to be in, and they can be confident in their talking, telling other people where to go. So he's basically just telling everybody the way to communicate, the way to talk, so it'll be easier for our other teammates. So he's been doing a lot of talking, but I think he's doing it so the guys can eventually just tell Stan to shut up and they just talk.
What's up, Brandon? Mark Spears from ESPN's Undefeated. Wanted to ask you that there's a couple coaches in the league in terms of white coaches that are woke, like Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich, and now you guys have one in Stan Van Gundy. What does it mean to you to have a coach that will stand up for Black rights and stand up against what is wrong?
Well, it feels good to have a coach that's true to himself. Doesn't change or waver for anybody. Same person every single day. So he stands for that. We're completely behind him. He stands for equality, or basically he just stands for the right thing. He wants the right thing to go on. So I could see everything behind that, and we totally respect Stan for that.
And also, when you first heard he got hired, what's the difference between what you thought about him before when he got hired to what you know about him now?
When he got hired, all we know is he's gonna be really, really loud every day. Um, he's gonna get the best out of everybody. And I mean, that was my only impression, that he was just going to get the best out of everybody. I didn't know how he coached. I didn't know anything, but from seeing him coach today and previous days, uh, I mean, I like it. He gets the best out of everybody. If he sees something wrong, he's going to stop every play in between playing. But he just makes sure that everything is right. And I mean, it's been good. Everything is really coached. Every single thing. Every single thing from the defensive end, offensive end, pick a roll, whatever it is, every single thing is coached.
Thank you.
Hey, BI, you just mentioned how, the team wants you, the coaching staff wants you to take more threes this season. You went from 1.8 attempts the previous season to 6.2 per game last season. I mean, how much more do you think you could bump that up? And I mean, are you just comfortable just taking, even more than you took last year, which seemed like a lot, but you shot such a good percentage at that rate?
I mean, I don't know. Whatever is going is going. If I'm in the mid range and I'm knocking mid range down all night, I'm not coming out of mid range. If I make 5 threes, I'm gonna shoot 10 threes. Whatever it is, or whatever I'm feeling that night, and whatever confidence my teammates has in me, and whatever confidence that I have in shooting the basketball, then I'm gonna keep letting it fly. I like to score the basketball. I think it's pretty easy for me to score the basketball. So I'm gonna shoot how many ever that I feel.
Did you feel like you had kind of a good mix last year? I know people have talked about this, and you've talked about this yourself about just being dangerous from all different levels of the court. I mean, did you feel like you had, not to say that it won't change this year, but you had a good mix as far as just being effective everywhere, mid-range, getting to the basket, and obviously shooting threes at almost 40%?
I mean, I could have shot the ball at 3 a little bit better. I could have got to the basket. I think in previous years, I've gotten to the basket a little bit more. But I just plan to play the game how the defense is playing me, knowing that I have confidence on all 3 levels, whether it's shooting the ball from the three-pointer, from the mid-range, or getting to the basket. I'm just going to take whatever the defense gives me, and if they give me going to the basket, if they leave my teammates open, then it's a pass to my teammates, and I'm going to just play the game easy.
Sure.
Hey, Christian Clark, just one more real quick. I think 6 full days of practice under your belt with Stan and everything. I know there's a lot to take in, but how ready do you guys feel to, play a game in 2 days? I know it's just a preseason, but how ready do you feel to do that?
Well, as you see, we've been beating on each other for 6 days. So I think we're ready to go against somebody else. It's always fun at this point where we're going to training camp and we're going up and down every single day and getting the best out of each other. So we see where we at right now with another team, and we continue to work.
The eye good?
Yeah, the eye good. I've been hit here before, so it'll heal sooner or later.
All right. Thank you, BI. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Christian Clark, you can lead us off.
Hey, Stan, this is Christian Clark with NOLA.com. We just talked to Brandon. I'm just curious, his most improved player campaign, the improved three-point shot was a big part of that. What do you just feel like, him being able to knock down the three as consistently as he did for his game?
Look, I think most of the times when you see guys in this league take a big jump, especially perimeter players, it's usually due to their shooting. And Brandon had one of the biggest jumps we've seen, both in terms of three-point shooting and free throw shooting. And he shot a lot more threes than he'd ever shot and made them at a higher level. He shot more free throws than he'd ever shot and shot them at a higher level. Well, there you go. I mean, you're going to add to your efficiency a great deal. And so Brandon's sort of go-to, where his comfort zone has always been, is in the mid-range. But the more he can attack the basket with his size and get to the free throw line, and then the more he plays off of his three-point shot, the better off he's going to be.
What's up, Stan? This is Will Guillory from The Athletic. Sticking with B.I., now that you've had, some days to be around him, really see him up close, what parts of his game really have stood out to you, and maybe more than you even expected coming in?
Yeah, I think the two, Will, would be his defense. He's worked hard at it. He's got great length. He has the potential to be a very, very good defender. And his passing. Very unselfish, very willing to make plays, and seeing the floor really, really well. So we know what he can do as a scorer, but he really can pass the ball and make plays for other people.
Stan, Scott Kushner with NOLA.com. Brandon mentioned that, I know you want to get the guards more involved, talking, communicating. He said a lot of the noise is still coming from you and your end. How do you kind of balance that as you guys move toward the regular season of trying to kind of communicate with what you want these guys to be doing while also balancing the fact that they need to sort of take ownership of it on the floor?
Scott, that's a great question. And it's something I'm not good at. I mean, I tend to be very, very vocal, and that's fine, but it does sort of push people into a back seat, and then they're not developing those things. So we did today make a real emphasis about their communication and about making calls, and I was really, really happy with Lonzo today. I thought that he was more vocal. He organized his team offensively. He was our best communicator at the defensive end of the floor today, particularly in transition, getting back and pointing to other people, getting people matched up. And so I think the way for me to encourage that is to talk to them about it and then step back and give them the room to do it. But that has never been a great strength of mine, and it's something I need to work on, Scott, quite honestly.
Is there, just to follow up quickly, is there a little bit of a training wheels aspect to it that you're allowed this year that maybe you wouldn't have in the past, considering home games are going to have 700 people at it? There might be some road games with 0 people at it, and they'll be able to hear you at a level that I'm certain they've never been able to hear you before.
Well, yeah, except that, that's negated by 2 things. One of the things I'm noticing right now, Scott, is the mask makes it difficult when there's even the sneakers going and everything. It's tough. And a lot of times what players are able to do, particularly when you're communicating them on dead balls, is as much about reading your lips as it is about what you're saying. Because the other team's shooting a free throw, you're not generally like yelling out the play. You're doing like, and they get it, but you can't do that now. And so the fact that it's quieter in the arena may help to some degree, but I think it's actually harder for them to get calls right now. I really do.
Hey, Stan, it's Andrew from ESPN. You mentioned Brandon's passing. We've also talked more about Zion's, ability to pass and be a playmaker. Do you foresee using both of those guys more so as facilitators and even in the half court, just kind of using their strengths that they have?
Well, yeah, Andrew, I mean, they're both really good passers and playmakers, and we're happy with that. But I don't know if I'd call them facilitators. We want to put them in position to be able to attack, and then when help comes and they draw a second defender, make a play. But they should always be thinking score, score, score. And I think that's what the great players do is, you know, they attack, they force you to help or make a rotation, and then they find open people. And I think we've got two guys who are both capable and willing to do that. I haven't seen them forcing plays. They're both played unselfishly, and they can put the ball on target to people. So I think we're blessed to have the guys that we have.
Hey, Stan, Christian Clark here again. You mentioned the other day that Josh was a limited participant in practice. How's he just looked since then? Is there any update on him at all?
He's been practicing full for the last, 3 practices maybe. He's done everything, and I think he's an absolutely vital part of what we're doing, Christian. I mean, he's a really tough guy, great rebounder on a team that struggles a little bit on the defensive boards, especially tough, smart, vocal, can make certainly a corner three, shoots it really well, and knows who he is. And one of the great skills, I think, in the NBA that people don't talk about enough is guys knowing who they are. I think it is a big reason when you get beyond the stars that some guys thrive and others don't, is the guys who can know who they are, play to their strengths, stay away from their weaknesses, and they play well. And there's other guys who have as much talent, compete just as hard, all of that, but don't seem to understand who they are. And so they make a lot of mistakes, get themselves into a lot of bad situations. I think Josh has the strength of knowing who he is. We need big minutes out of him this year. He's a really, really good player.
What's up, Stan? This is Will Guillory. You mentioned Lonzo today and how vocal he was, and Nikhil mentioned us when we talked to him about how you're pushing the guards to be more vocal and you want them to be a vocal presence on the court. Has that been your philosophy, ever since you've been a coach, that you want your guards to be really vocal? And if so, why is that important?
Well, it has been, Will. And look, to me, one of the things I really value offensively is organization. I just think if we're organized to start a possession, I don't care if it's coming off an opponent's miss where you're more random or whether you're running set plays, like we need to be organized in what we do. And the point guard is the one who's got to tell us what we're in and get us organized. And then we have a chance to execute and do well. When the point guard isn't vocal, isn't letting people know, a possession that starts badly rarely ends well. And so I think organization is key. I think it's their job, and it's something that we will stay on them about. But they all did a much better job today. Lonzo in particular, I thought was just outstanding.
Hey, this is Jim from Pelicans.com. Scott mentioned earlier that there is going to be 700, 800 fans at the first home game in the first part of the season. How much of a positive is that for you guys? I mean, I think we all understand that there aren't going to be that many teams that start the season with fans, just to be able to have, that additional atmosphere at the games at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that's a good question, Jim. And I don't know, because obviously 700 fans is not very many. So I don't know how much it'll help. I mean, it would be good to have some people in the building rooting for you a little bit, I guess, but it'll still be a strange situation. I mean, I don't know that 700 people will give us a big home court advantage or anything. I do think the fact that some of these guys will be able to have family there and things like that will probably give them a little bit more comfort, but we'll just see as it goes.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll have Jackson Hayes next.
What's up, Jackson? This is Will Guillory with The Athletic. Just what has it been like for you just getting to compete against Steven every day in practice? I know everybody talks about what type of physical presence he is and how smart he is on the offensive end. Just what's it been like going against him every day?
I'd say it's been really good. Just trying to learn a bunch of new stuff. He's been teaching me a bunch of stuff. Just learning how to play against big guys like that, just how to use their weight against them, stuff like that. So I feel like it's been really good for me.
Hey, Jackson, Christian Clark here with null.com. Stan said, one of the things you guys continue to work on is just communicating a little bit more. Where do you feel like you guys are at in that department right now?
I feel like we're getting better, but we still have a long ways to go, obviously. It's just training camp, so we're also getting used to playing with each other, all the new guys and the new system and all of that. So I feel like our talk's just kind of starting, and we're all still just kind of learning on what to say, but it's gotten really well so far.
Hey, Jackson, Rod Walker with NOLA.com. Going back to Steven Adams question. How strong is Steven Adams? And also, you got any funny Steven Adams stories yet?
Steve's probably the strongest guy I played against last year in the league, and it's definitely still the strongest guy probably in the league. I mean, Steve's just a funny guy, so just being around him is just, I mean, always something funny gonna happen. Like, he has that little Australian sarcasm to him, so it's pretty funny.
Hey, it's Scott Kushner with the Times-Picayune. Stan said a little bit, he's trying to back off of yelling so much and let you guys kind of take some ownership out there of talking. How much is he involved in a play-to-play basis? How different is it for you, switching coaches from a style like Alvin had to a style like Stan has in this training camp?
There's definitely a very big difference. I mean, last year we were probably done like each practice like 45 minutes, but now we're here for like 3 hours and then another 2 hours later. So it's definitely a lot different, but I feel like it's a lot better for us.
What's up, Jackson? This is Will again from The Athletic. I know how important defense is as part of your game. So how much has it helped being around a coach like Stan who's stressing it as much as he has during training camp? And I'm sure probably pushing you to be better on that end.
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been pushing me a ton with the defensive stuff. I'm just trying to learn right now and just get a lot better at it. I feel like it's coming along better though. So yeah, we'll see how it goes from there.
All right. Thank you, Jax.
Appreciate it. All right, y'all.
And that'll finish us up for today.